The party was nice, the party was fine, and everybody having a bar. All right. Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry I'm a little late. It is 6:32. It is June 10th. On target. Good morning, my dogs. What up? What up? It is Scott Redler. My name. Yeah, that is my name, right? It's still my name. Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to the 6:30 Club. We are back. It is June 10th. This is the date. About 2 weeks ago, I thought in my head, I'm like, maybe I'll be back from surgery. Figured surgery was May 30th. And then I was in the hospital till about a week ago today. And now here I am, a little back in action. But again, we said once we're back, there's no more surgery talk, no more heart talk, no more of that. Now it's back to business, back to trying to, put our process back together in a better version, in a better, scenario. It was a little, this week was this what the morning wasn't back 100%. I was not in my sauna. I was not in my ice barrel. I did go from a little bit of a warm shower to a little bit of a cold shower, but I still have a lot of scarring over there. I got, the tubes that were there out of the neck, and still got a lot going on. So I figured this week I'm going to take it a little light, a little modified. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Let's see who's coming in. We got Dave Tomlinson back. We got Jim back. Blair, what up? What up? Got Scotty Gids. What up, Miami Jeff? Space Specialist. We got Sully in the house. We got Ali Hassan. Thanks again for everyone. All your well wishes. I've been doing this for a long time, right? I've been, in the market since 1997, evolving my process each and every year, becoming hopefully a better version of myself as a trader and a person. And I just like to share experiences and just try and add value to those around me. 6:30 Club was created during the pandemic when they shut the world down and we had no idea what was going on. So I was sitting here in my office and I'm like, let me do a 20-minute video and answer some questions and let everyone know what I'm doing with my 401k, what I'm doing with my 403b, what I'm doing with my wife's Blood in the Street account. The Blood in the Street account was put to a lot of work during 2020. And then obviously, through the years, I have created 4 different accounts to trade as a little active portfolio manager. I have a day trading account. I have a swing account when things are trending above the 8-day and 21-day, trying to take advantage of moves. And then the day trading account is to use chart patterns to have a tier system to create cash flow. And then the options, and then, the box account, and you name it. So anyway, it's good to see all you guys. And, here we are on a Monday, right? Monday, June 10th. What goes on this week? We got Apple today, which is very important, for today's action. Will they sell the event? Historically, they try and sell the event. If they can't sell the event, chances are, we're in like a 10 to 12 month channel that hopefully breaks to the upside. Sometimes they sell the event and then they just grind it back to the rest of the week. You have NVIDIA post split, and then Wednesday you have the CPI and the Fed. So let's hook up some charts here, do what we do best. You go to present, share screen, entire screen, this one right here. And ultimately, there's a chart of the SPYs, right? So I remember, heading in for surgery, leaving somewhere around here, I think, when you had this big bearish engulfing bar. And some people are like, well, Red Dog, we made a new high without, those candlesticks mean nothing. I'm like, well, if you sold into some strength and reduced your positions here, the SPYs did make a low of 518. So you're holding in the 525s. If you were lighter on your feet, it was a little easier to navigate when finally at a Red Dog reversal, when it took out 521.33, went to 518, digested, and then made a move to 536. So the question is, now what? Okay. Well, you have 532 is Friday's low. You have 530.85, which is the 8-day. Obviously, above the 8-day, things are stronger. Right now, the SPYs aren't doing a whole hell of a lot. Ooh, let me just got a lot of level 2s. These are all the level 2s that I have on one screen, which is what I learned to read when I was 1997, 1998. I was using level 2s, to help with the speed of the situation. So at this point, we'll get to Apple in a second. Here are the SPYs. SPYs are 533.60. So far having an inside day. All right, so will today and tomorrow be an inside day ahead of the CPI and, and the Fed Wednesday? Maybe, or will, Apple have a big enough move to dictate the price of the SPYs? So here we are. Again, not so unhealthy. And again, and even if you did reduce or adjust here, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days to pick out the best names out there. And the problem is how narrow the market is. Like, I was sitting in my hospital bed trying to find some things to position in, and the only thing that really paid me well was being long Apple. I did trade NVIDIA here and there from the bed. I tried to position in a little bit of Meta options and to see if Microsoft could wake up. And there are a few things that look decent if we hold in here and go, but the problem is not many of them. Not many of them at all. Like, I'm going to be just going through some charts that I haven't seen in a while, so they might look a little funky. So we're going to adjust them together. So here's the Qs. The Qs ultimately are still leading, are still doing just fine. Here is going to be interesting. This is 461.84. If they try and sell the Apple event, which is a big if, then the Qs probably don't hold 461.84, and then your next level below is the 8-day. So the Qs have been very important, right? The SPYs and the Qs look very set up, but then when you look at something like the IWM, which I haven't looked at in a while, look how ugly that is. The IWMs, are still below all the moving averages. Every single strategist out there in the world is talking about, oh, IWM's the place to be, equal weight, equal weight, equal weight. But meanwhile, you're still trending lower, and this has not been the place to be. The IWMs has not been the place to make money. Sorry, for a while. Look at the XLE. XLE also. XLE, everyone's been talking about how energy's the best. It was the best up until the Red Dog reversal on April 12th. And now the XLE is also just kind of trending down, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So energy and the small caps have not been, if you've been focusing there, you've been knocking your head against the wall. It just hasn't been there. So again, this is showing you like the narrowness, narrow. And then I'm not even getting into anything else. So what am I focused on this week? Okay, I think Apple is going to be very important. Let's look at it on a few different time frames here. So how could you have been playing Apple? First of all, if you're an investor in Apple for the past 10 years, congratulations, you've made a lot of money. It was actually my son's first purchase during the pandemic, and he has it in his Robinhood account. But anyway, that's one way to do it. And then another way, if you remember, I've taught you guys about, the pro earnings gap. Here is your pro earnings gap. Didn't work the first day. Could have worked here. This is probably when I put it on as a swing trade versus 180.43. Okay. And it's been pretty good. I've been buying some dips, playing some options all the way up. And I have some 197 halves on that I bought the dip for last week just in case it can't sell it. I'm also in some stock. So this was literally July 18th, 2023. It's a long time ago. Apple's been going sideways for a long time, as everybody has spoken about. No innovation, high PE, blah, 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 blah. So PS, what's this high here? 196.94, 196.94. If this WWDC is actually impressive, if their AI is in a yawn, I'm hoping it's not. I have no idea. If this takes out this 197, then you have 198.23, 199, and literally you have a channel that if you go from like 165 to just even 190, 30 points, this should be 220 at some point this year, in my humble opinion. We'll see. But is it going to take out 198, 199 and be 202 by Friday? There's a small chance that, or are they going to sell the news? Is it going to break, this, I would say, pretty important 193 area? And if so, then all of a sudden, it turns into a tricky trade back to 189. So that's the daily chart. Then you go to the weekly chart of Apple just to line things up, because you always want to line things up when you get close to a big event, and here's the weekly chart. If you guys, first of all, if you remember, I showed you this spot right here. This was a great spot to get long when it broke this descending trend line. And now here we are, almost right back to the upper level of the channel. Is it going to break this channel to the upside? We shall see. We'll know a lot more between today and tomorrow. you have your points of reference. This is 199.62 is 198.47, and this right here is 196.94. That is what we know. This is what we know. What will be the reaction will be the reaction. Okay, I do have options on just in case it goes and I don't have enough. I have the 197 has. I bought the dip last week. It'll be nice if it goes to 202. I'll make a lot of money and I'm in the stock and we'll trade it. We'll see. If it goes through and does a massive red dog reversal, trades through and doesn't hold it and comes back and does top and tail like it did here the last time it looked like it, then that won't be fun. But that'll be what it is. But you can't get too bearish. You could even draw this if it holds the bottom. If it gives back this candle, does a king and queens formation at the top, then it just needs more time and it stays in the channel. This is very important for today and tomorrow, in my humble opinion. What has Tom Lee said? Tom Lee said 5% upside by the end of the month in what option wrap in Apple or in the overall market. So I think Apple is super duper important. Okay. In other mega cap tech land, what else is set up in my opinion? I still think Meta, which kind of is a pain in the ass, is sort of set up. Okay. Meta gave you finally that trade where it busted above 482.50. So if the market wants to hang in and go, you would think maybe it holds this 490 spot. It's got to hold 490. If it doesn't hold 490, this, excuse my French, is a pain in the ass. So a nice little bull flag sideways would be good for Meta. So Meta is something will be on my radar this week with Apple. Microsoft also on the radar. Not great, but still Microsoft's in this long-term channel. Took back some moving averages. Move this up. If you're long Microsoft for this week, you could have a stop at 420.58. It's got to hold 420.58 in order to be in play to potentially, give you more upside. Tesla is interesting. Tesla is very tight. I haven't seen Tesla this tight in a while. Okay, so if you think finally Tesla's going to play some catch up, and Tesla's been broken. Tesla has not been the Tesla when Elon. Where's my buddy Elon? Here's Elon. He's on the floor still. There he is. Oh, look, there he is. But it's pretty tight. If you wanted to play some options here, I don't disagree with you. I feel like who knows the day that it wants to, and I know they have the vote on his compensation, this and that. I think there's a decent setup where you could buy the 182.50 calls for Friday and then not worry about it. It's either going to work or not work. If it's going to break and be bearish the way it's been since December, it'll break below 173. But if there's a good trade here, it could happen at any day this week. So it is tight. So it is worthy of consideration. That's it. It's just on the list. It moved from the D list. Tesla was on the D list, and now it's on the B plus list, and it'll need some massive, massive volume. So I don't want to make it, I don't want to go over too much stuff now. Avago has earnings this week too. Avago, also let's make it. Let me show you the weekly chart. Avago hasn't done a lot, and this is important. Hold on. Avago hasn't done a whole lot. It's been in this channel. It's been a chosen one. It has more than just AI. It has other components to it. It's got cell phones. It's got computers, this and that. This is important. This area is 1440-ish. Damn it. Sorry. Go back to the daily. This is an old chart from before. Free surgery, Red Dog. So there you got 1445. Let's get rid of some of this noise. Let's get rid of the noise. Make it very simple. It's going to have to get above and stay above 1445 to give a move to 1500, right? Here's the bottom end of the channel. This is what we do. This is what I do every day. Go over charts, get rid of lines, clean things up, get points of reference, go through things that matter. What matters right now is 1445. So it's going to need a hell of a report to get above 1438, 1445. And it's a nice setup because, again, why? It's been consolidating since March, April, May, June. So for 4 months, this has been in a sideways channel. I'll take a look. And the earnings, what are the 12th? Today's the 10th. Ooh, Wednesday. So anyway, That's that. And then you have NVIDIA that's post split. The charts haven't adjusted yet. And then you had some predatory moves. I thought gold was pretty predatory. You know, if you remember right here, it looked like it was going to break out above 225, and then that candle got you out. And now all of a sudden, big gap to the downside. Gold doesn't look great. Silver, we made a lot of money earlier in the year. That's why we adjust. That's why plays set up, and then they're done. Silver also, if you remember, we were talking about silver down here when you had a huge channel. Then you had a double top, and then it got faulty, and now it also doesn't look as good. And then, then all of a sudden, Bitcoin looked like it was going to break above 71 to 73,000, and that was a tease. So I can see how last week wasn't so great. Just overall, depending where you were, if you were in, if you traded NVIDIA, was pretty good. If you were buying dips in Apple, pretty good. Meta, there was a little move. Microsoft, but still nothing so great. Eli Lilly's been awesome. Lilly, I remember going over this with you before leaving. This had a really nice channel, and this is continuing. So Lilly, you can't be upset about this. Wow. We were talking about it right in here. I remember I was accumulating those options at $7, $8. I got out at 25 thinking I was great. Not great. It was just a good trade. And meanwhile, it could have been more. But again, small wins add up. Sometimes you got to go out further, and what a move in Lilly. So there's been things to do. It's just very narrow. And when things get very narrow, you just got to be a little bit careful because there's not a whole lot of things holding up a tape if they decide to finally sell it down. Not saying they will. I'm just talking out loud. You can't be in something because something else is working. It's just not the way to go. You have to be in what's working, and that's it. You got caught up in that kitty bullshit with GME and this and that. There were trades to do there, but you had to be very careful. Ultimately, that's not what's going to make you a living. Playing those meme names, every now and then there's a good setup and you can get a cool trade as if you were in a casino in Vegas, but that's not what's going to make you a living. So ultimately, let's just go back to it one more time because then I got to go. SPY's right here. What are we going to have? Are we going to have an inside day? You have the CPI Wednesday, which is important, the Fed Wednesday, which is important, and what truly is more important to me is Apple. What is Apple going to do today and tomorrow? Are they going to, sell the news, okay, and break it below 193 and take away what's been a really nice active sequence, or are they going to be able to get it above 197, which is step one, and then you have 198.23 and then 199, and give you a really nice candle that gives you another sequence into next Friday or this Friday. As far as NVIDIA, did they adjust it per split? Not yet. SMCI, just to show you, look at SMCI. And NVIDIA hit a high of 1250 something last week, and now look at SMCI. If you were buying SMCI because NVIDIA hit a high, you were definitely you're not happy. So again, that's the type of market we are now, where the groups, aren't moving fully together. So just be a little careful. Thanks for tuning in. This is the first one. You could tell I still not, uranium kind of broke down. A lot of things broke down. So hopefully you saw some signals and you took some risk down and you had a few paper cuts and then went with what's working. Stick with what's working. Don't throw a lot of things against the wall right now because a lot of things aren't working. It's very specific. I'm going to focus on Apple. How does NVIDIA trade post earnings? Maybe some mega caps are in play, and we'll see where we are, going into Wednesday with the CPI and the Fed. Thanks for tuning in. Every day, every week, we get stronger and we evolve. We control what we can control, and if you can't control it, you got to trust those around you. And hey, it's good to be back. Day one back. I'll see you guys a little bit later. I'll post a few charts. Bye-bye.